It is man.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Geek Topology, and today I'm continuing Progressive Park. I'm watching around. I'm not so accustomed to hosting on StreamYards. I'm okay with using it in, jumping to another people's channel, but I don't know how to properly use this. Okay, looks like Firefox is going to shits. It's crashing. I can no longer control Firefox. This is amazing. Give me just a second. Nope. Seems like Firefox crashed. I'm flying without any kind of view. Yay! Oh, anyway. Other than marital troubles, wait, it's not marital. Software dysfunction, let's say. Hey, it let me close the. Okay, it's working. It's working. It's working. God damn it! That was. Always try the software before you use it live. That's something I should have understood a long time ago. But anyway, I'm trying to see if I can share the link to my stream on. I'm not even appearing on. Okay, I'm appearing now. Copy link. Yeah, what a start of the. I'm boomer in this. Oh man. Okay, shared on Twitter. Yeah. Let me get the title of the stream. And the image. By the way, there's 0 people viewing, so I'm not so concerned about the quality of my talking right now. I can just keep the algorithm happy by not saying too many curse words like. I don't want to risk it. I have grown wiser since my first stream. Trust me, I'm no longer fucking it up that much. Well, fuck. I guess after a few minutes, after the 3 minutes, you can say fuck. That's okay. Yeah, other than that, I don't know if you can actually use curse words that much. But so is life. Life is life. Anyway, I have shared the video, and let's see. I was doing something fun the other day, and let's see if some of the people that I invited drop in. But until then, I will be playing Pac-Man Adventures. How about Adventures in Time? How about that? How about a little gaming? And for that, I need the OBS camera. I am a camera, camera, camera. If you have heard that song, you're amazing. Just saying, you're just amazing. I love that bloody song. It's from my childhood. I used to hear jazz a lot on my childhood. Start virtual camera and monitor one. No. Oh, okay, that's better. It's showing my screen, right? Yeah, it's showing my screen. Let's go. Oh, god damn it. Okay, I need to load the CD. That's easy. There's no CD. There's only Zul. No, there's only an ISO file that I can launch. That easy. Come on, work. This is a 90s game, by the way, so it's old. And it's one of the first games I had for my own, well, not my own, my household PC. And yes, I have been playing it quite a bit. Is the sound coming through? If the sound is not coming through, tell me please in the chat. But anyway, let's talk about old PCs and old video games in PCs, okay? I had a lot of experimenting with an old Pentium 3. You know, Pentium 3 is not best to do anything other than existing. But I kind of like the damn Acer. Yeah, it was an Acer PC. I don't remember the model, but it was a branded PC. That was huge, and the screen was an IBM screen, so it was fancy. Hey, Sergeant Polonius. Let me read. Hail Geek Tripoli. Happy Saturday. No sound on the stream in case we're expect. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm new to this, using the OBS camera as a video feed source. Not exactly sure how it will work, but anyway, it's working, right? You can see the games. I guess a lot of this music is copyrighted. Games from the 90s from this kind of companies used to have old school views on copyrights, let's say. I don't know if they are enforcing them to this day, but ancient YouTube history, the time where streaming began to be popular, and not streaming only. Gaming in general, the first video capture cards were launching. There was a lot of goodwill, a lot of interest, and YouTube became a minefield. You could try to get your gaming channel, but companies like Sega, and that was the whole stick with Total Biscuit and Sega. He refused to play any Sega games on his channel in any shape or form until they apologized for taking down a lot of his content for copyright reasons. Even the completionist that he had a lot of influence in what happened, Jontron and everything. He was connected to Disney in a few ways. I don't want to say specifics because I don't know if that commonly known things, and I don't want to gossip. But yeah, he was connected, like everyone from the first wave of YouTube gaming channels, gaming related channels. They were good. They were amazing, actually. I love Jontron. Until this date, I prefer to die by rock than die by ghost. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm just rambling about. Um, I'm trying to play a game that I haven't played in. I don't know, 2000 and something, 2003. As you can see by the graphics, 2000 and something. Yeah. Oh man, if I could, there's a lot of games that I own. I own the original CDs that I will love to play, but they are no longer compatible with any kind of hardware. And I have tried. I have tried to play Mimi and the Mites. I have tried to play the old Virgin fighting game. If you don't know it, is with a pony and a bunch of bullshit. It's a weird game. A ripoff of Bugs Bunny, but in fighting. Yeah, I don't know how that came to existence. I would like to know though. If I can get a lot of information on all shit, all video game companies, I will love that. For instance, there's a lot to be learned about Looking Glass Studios, the ones that made Thief. They made Thief sleeping in the same place, everyone in dirty. Galpon, is it a Galpon? Okay, a huge structure. Um, yeah, they didn't went home. They didn't did nothing else but developing Thief, the Dark Project. They were crazy, crazy developers, and I love them. They are my inspiration for the first years of developing that I ever did. Because I was doing governmental projects. My first big project was from the Secretary of how will anyone call it on English? Okay, is Department of Living. Yes, about houses and everything. I don't know how they call it on the United States. Okay. Well, I had to make every single public contract be available on a database for the homes the government gave away, the homes that the government sold, small pieces of terrain that were reclaimed, and I'm sucking on the game. So let's go full screen on my face. Okay, FaceTime. Camera. Yeah, no, camera. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I was doing that database. It was a terrible, terrible time for me. I hated that job. I really hated that job because I had to sleep in that office for 3 months. Yeah, I went home twice a week I will pass out on the office. I will literally pass out. I will stay working till 6 a.m., then sleep a couple hours on my chair, and work again. That was my daily routine for a time. It was shit. It was really shit. My bosses were great. They used to give me uh, pizza, a lot of sodas, a lot of beverage, energy drinks. But if you look at it in retrospective, they contributed to my early death. That was not a nice time. And I was working with the guy that teach me how to code. He's a, he's an amazing man. He's a fucktard. He's an amazing man, by the way. He's just a fucking fucktard. He used to make pranks, fuck a lot of shit easy for me, offer me to do jobs that I was not accustomed or even prepared to do. What a fun ride it was. What a fun ride. Oh man. But then again, I guess that's how I learned how to properly work ethics. If the project is not complete, you are not done. You're just not done. You gotta finish whatever you do. If there's a web page and you feel like no, you won't be on time, you will be on time. You will pull a couple of all-nighters, you will overstress yourself for a couple of days, and you will keep going. It's that simple. It's that easy. It sounds difficult until you do it. When you do it, it's done. It's finished. You get at the right time and show your project and it's finished and they pay you and it's over. You go away and never look back. Unless you really love the site and then you do updates and then you can get paid for the updates. But there's a bunch of sites like I did this site for a cacao processing and chocolate making company called Kaoni. And my NDA died 4 years ago, so I can fully talk about it. The fucktards used to send new design ideas with 2 hours to present the current release of the project. And it was a huge, it was an interactive site, HTML5. It was one of the first sites that I did in HTML5. There was a lot of CSS animations, a lot of JavaScript running in the background. We were supposed to migrate almost fully some functionalities of the old site, and the old site was done in Flash. And Flash was no longer supported by a lot of companies, including Apple. Google was removing it and making it a legacy project. There was a lot of shit there. So what I had to do was make the designer cry. I wish I was joking, but I told her that she will be better off selling flowers on a dumpster. No, getting the flowers on the dumpster, trying to sell them to the dumpster. She will be more effective. Yeah, I was a fucking asshole that day. And I needed it. Because once she finished crying, she went and told the client, "You know you are a bunch of assholes and I won't work for you." That made them soften up a bit. Yeah, I made the designer cry, and thanks to her crying, We actually got a little better on the project. It was a fucking disaster. It was terrible, terrible. I love that. I love doing that project in a way. I love the barriers. I love the difficulties. I wanted to make it great. And once it was finished, it was glorious. The web page was amazing. Then they changed it for an run of the mill WordPress template. I feel insulted to this day. I really feel insulted to this day. What a bunch of assholes. But they pay well. They paid at that time. Okay, web pages prices have gone down a lot. When I was beginning to develop, you will get a $10,000 contract. It was pricey, so a lot of the money will go to the designer team and the main company, everything, because you needed to work some contracts by getting bigger companies to deal with international clients and everything. So you will get something on the $10,000 ballpark, and the developers will earn around 1,500, something like that. It's not a lot, but it was a lot in a time where the minimal wage for my country was $250. So it was a massive amount of money. Then to the year 2014, a website will cost around, in the ballpark, the full website, including everything, $2,000 a good site and $1,000 a medium site. Okay. Then you come to current day. Yeah, a full website will cost around $150. I'm not joking. That's what I make for a website. $150. That that's all. So yeah, the prices have gone way down, and there's companies like the ones that get you a full website done in minutes by moving around a lot of shit. They don't care about SEO, they don't care about books, they don't care about anything but selling you a cheap website. But because of that, there's a bunch of people that will resell those cheap websites. Selling a really good website is almost impossible. And the animations that I used to do, I no longer do. That's sad, because CSS animation is something that I really love to do. It's something that I enjoy very much every single time I have to do, because it reminds me to old cartoon animation. You have to deform and move the pieces in a mathematical way, and that is, and I don't know, moving the layers and using the layering techniques to do 2D animation on CSS is something that I really love. Um, yeah, I miss doing that. I miss working that kind of projects. But right now, no one wants to pay for that. No one wants to pay for that kind of development. And also the times you have a web page that can be done in a week versus a web page that can be done in 3 months. Yeah, the new web pages are lamer, really lamer. There's some preset uh, animations, a lot of bullshit, but it is not real software developing. Really, it is not real software developing. They don't care about the inner workings of what they are doing. They just care about selling it, selling it, selling it, selling it. Pre-packed websites is boring. It's just boring. I love doing weird shit. Like you move the mouse, and there will be points where bubbles will start to pop out of the items, and then you pop the bubbles, and you'll get a code that you enter in the store, and with that you get a discount. So you get people engaged on moving around in your webpage. Instead of that, you make a big red button, which is lame. It's just lame. The design, the ingenuity on these websites are so basic. And I look the big sites. I look at Facebook. I look at Twitter. I look at the Google sites. Google used to do the doodles, but also they used to mix it up a lot in the framing of the results. They no longer do anything. They have fully abandoned the soul of Google. Facebook is only a frame to keep doing requests to your server, to your router to communicate with the server. You have 20 calls in a second because they love measuring everything you do. So it is a waste of space, and the design is boring. Is this corporate bland? They no longer take something fun and inventive, like if you are in the web page of a building. Okay, you see the full structure, and you can click in some rooms and actually have a 3D view of the room. Then you can move around objects. All that can be done on CSS and JavaScript. All that can be amazing, and there's a lot of pre-built plugins that will work for that. Just people don't want to pay for it. It's that simple. People don't want to pay to make something amazing. They want to convey information and sell shit. And that is what destroyed completely for me the enjoyment of doing web pages. Doing a web page used to be this grandiose event, you know? When you launched the web page and you didn't had any single book in 3 weeks, you were happy as hell. You will give a warranty for your products for half a year easily. Now, if I sell a web page, I won't support it other than, okay, here's your backup. If everything burns, you jump to the fire. What can I say to my customers, man? You are paying me $150 to spend a whole week trying to make you happy. And trust me, most customers don't finish happy with the products they have, because the design is normally overselling them whatever they see. Yeah, the design is made to oversell you a web page. It's that simple. So the customer says, okay, if we change this text here, and can we get something fancy to move the text around and a lot of images? Yeah, we can do that. There's a lot of simple ways to do that, but there's no real animation. There's no character that comes out when you scroll to a point and walks in the screen and moves the items that you have in the screen and then leaves. And all that is made by code. That was art for me. That was. And okay, there's a lot of animation like Hotish Food. This is a site that I make not that long ago. But it is a simpler site, okay? It is real simple. Share a screen. Hotish Food. Okay, this is our website that I made. There are some animations, but it's only normal layering. It's nothing else. The pickle won't do anything because the amount of effort to actually make the pickle do anything will cost a pretty penny. Will cost, let's say, make this page fully animated will cost around $500. Um, then Gizzard. This is another page from the same group, but I had a lot more entertainment doing this webpage because they wanted a lot of fancy shit. So if you can see, the layering is not only moving, is moving at different rates, and you have multiple levels of layer upon layer of things moving around. This is a bit fancier. It it is still the simplest way to do things, which is lame. It's lame. It's just lame. I love programming. Hey, Liam Nelson Scene. Oh man, good to see you here. Man, if you want to jump in, I can send you the link. Same for Sergeant Politeness. If you're still there, please. If you want to jump in, jump in. I'm on StreamYard, so I can do shit like that now. That's one day I'll pay to remove this logo and to be able to properly stream longer. Yeah, there was. Dude, I have a lot of favorite web pages. I had a lot of sites that I love the crafting, the art. Oh, sorry to hear that, man. But you know what? I'll tell you the same that Gary told a lot of people once. It is fun to jump in. You know, it's just fun to jump in. He was right on that. I thought, okay, I'll have to take it as a chore sometimes, and getting ready to do the stream, and sometimes I have to be on time and everything. Yeah, it's a bit of a chore. But then, speaking to you guys and being able to jump to different channels and see different people has been mind blowing. It's a great experience. I'm really happy to be able to socialize in one way or another. It's it's a happy time. It's a great time to be around so many people, and I was blown away by the fact that I actually got to the other day to speak to Andre directly and talk about Midnight Sage. And actually, I was the one in Polish channel to break the news that we were making Midnight Sage Espanol. I was the one to present the project in Latinos Lands channel. That was great, and I never thought about the fact that I will be, launching a Midnight Edge channel. It's mind blowing. It's amazing. It's just amazing for me. It's incredible. I used to think I would love to make videos like that. I would love to have the knowledge that they have, because a lot of what they say is inside knowledge that you don't get easily. Sí, yes, I'm part of that project, Midnight Says Edge in Espanol. Ah, man. And Sergeant Politeness is a lot thanks to you, because I was ready to give up when I made that crowdfunding campaign. I was ready to give up. And that shows you maybe give up is not the best answer. It was months, yeah, but then I was on Friday Night Lights and I was happy to be there and I was amazed by being in the same stream as Gary. Then one day I'm just randomly there minding my own business and I get a message from Paulie that he wants to talk to me. I agree, okay, let's chat. We go into a call in StreamYards and he's like, dude, we are doing this channel. I was like, dude, you are doing this channel and me? No, we are doing this channel. I need you to do a demo of this video, and it was a Cobra Kai video. And I was like, okay, let's try it. I did a minute or so of translation. Then he tells me, no, you need to do something bigger. You need to do a 3 minute video. Okay, I do the 3 minute mark video. And then I'm in a call in a StreamYards call with Andre. And is no longer okay, we are taking a look at you, they were like, okay, we are going to interview these guys and we are setting a team. Am I in the team? Since when I'm in the team? Why nobody told me? It was mind-blowing to say the least. And it's all because, I was here. I was doing shit here. I was speaking a bunch of nonsense, If you really think about what I'm talking about is about the shit from my childhood that amazingly enough has a lot to do with the Masons and that shit, because I was in the right place and the right time, I guess. But I was never anything special, to say the least. I was nothing great. I was only a middle of the road worker, and I loved being a middle of the road worker. It was what I did the best. Being a grunt, being a. But then creating content, that's different. That's actually thinking about the impact every single word you say makes. Like, if you see the amount of emphasis Rob gets in some words, the amount of energy he gives in the video, it keeps you captivated. That's technique. I don't know where is that technique from, but he has it. He knows what he's doing. When I do a video, I just turn on the camera and rant about shit. I'm trying to do a scripted video, by the way, about the Star Trek article about communism. Yeah, that's a bunch of shit. And I'm trying to do a scripted video because there's a couple of instances where Bones tells that his salary is not enough. Yeah, that's a phrase that happens in the original series. Then there's a statement about house ownership, about planetary right ownership, that is a capitalistic viewpoint. There's in the movies a lot of remarks on living wages in the tripulation. So yeah, Star Trek is not in this communist paradise as they say. If you properly watch the series, and I know there's an interview or something like that with Roddenberry, and he said that currency is no longer available. Well, they have a salary, they have a credit system, they like it or not. That's how it works. And that's the reality of the series. And if in the next generation they got rid of completely currency, it is not a real communist society, is a practical society. If you have limitless resources, you have limitless opportunities in every single human being to do whatever they want. That changes every single human being to be the best they can be. It's a sentence for every single human that they have to be the best, because there's no longer any kind of way to say, "Ah, no, man, uh, I think I couldn't. I won't get the resources. I won't be able to do the project." No, 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 no. You press a button, you get every single stone, every single piece of material to make a cathedral. The real question is, will you do the cathedral? Will you build the cathedral? If the answer is not, well, then there's a society where you can no longer brag. You cannot say, if I had an helicopter, I will be the best pilot ever, because you can get an helicopter. Okay, show it. Just press the button on the replicator, you get a helicopter. Show it. Do it. Make it. It's not a communist society. It's a limitless society. Is another kind of society that we are not even ready to wrap our heads around of, because the amount of pressure in every single individual is incommensurable. You cannot even fathom how much pressure there is if you have a lot of opportunities. And this is from someone that grew in a affluent like kind of society, thanks to my grandfather, I was never properly in the street. I have been living in the streets, but that's because I decided to jump off my family for a time. And it was a huge mistake, because I could have enjoyed a lot of my family in a time where I look back. Right now, I cannot go to see my grandparents. I will die to go and see them, man. It will be amazing just to sit down and hear my grandparent. My granddad is alive. He's almost 100 years old. He is alive. I don't know for how long, but sitting there and hearing him tell me histories about how the military thought he kidnapped the president of Ecuador, because he went into a fishing trip, and the president never said to anyone in the government that he was disappearing for a whole day. That happened. That's the kind of stupid shit that my grandfather was part of. And that kinds of stories also came with, there's a bunch of opportunities for you. We won't make you be in a position. We will give you the opportunity to earn that position. That's different from just giving you away whatever. But that gave me a lot of opportunities to learn piano, to learn how to draw, how to paint in oleo, how to paint in pastel. I don't know if the term in the United States is pastel too, but it is like like a clerk, like the one you use in the chalkboard. Yeah, like that, but colorful and amazing. I should hang. I have a. I don't know where it is. I have a painting done by me around. All those opportunities were to make me be the best I can be. I didn't get it. I really thought they were pressuring me to whatever. No. If I see back, they were just giving me opportunities to be whatever I wanted. I wasted them. I wasted them. I never took into consideration the amount of awesomeness of being able to read. Okay, Tolkien, The Hobbit. I wrote it. Oh, I must have been like 10 years old. I was young. I was really young, and they didn't even wanted me to read the book. They thought it was a bit too mature for me. So I snuck it out of my grandparents' home to mine. I almost finished it when my sister took it away, and actually she lost the book. She lost the book. I'm pretty sure she sold the book. I don't know why, but that's a sensation that I have from that day. Um, in Ecuador, the whole Lord of the Rings a series of books was not popular until the movies. So I got into the Lord of the Rings easily 5 years before the whole fad. Before it went nuclear and everyone wanted to know about the Lord of the Rings, I was already there. My cousins, my cousin Pacho, he was a lot into Lord of the Rings, into Star Wars, into old cinema, because my grandfather used to have tapes of old movies like King Kong, Space Odyssey, a lot of Charlie Chaplin movies. It was amazing, amazing to say the least, having that much. A huge catalog of movies in the early 90s in Ecuador was almost impossible, but he had it. Hey, Eric O'Sullivan says, I'm gonna lay down and probably fall asleep. Pablo got a great radio DJ voice. Thanks, man. uh, really? Will I be good to do radio? Never thought about it. I took radio classes, by the way, and this is in college. After I left biology, I tried to get back into periodism. I was supposed to take an easy route for my life. I was out of biology. I didn't want to care about anything else in college. And I thought, what's a easy job you can do? Okay, I'm a developer. I can go and be a community manager, but I need something to back it up. I have been in successful blogs, but nothing major, nothing that I can sell. So let's get this degree. Yeah, I never finished that career. Someone offered me a job that I will earn $800 a month. It was a fuck ton of money. It was a real fuck ton of money for me at that time. So I took it. And I don't even feel bad about it. It made my developing career go off into a complete new road. It was amazing. But yeah, I got into the radio classes were obligatory, and they will give you a sentence to read in the classical radio, in the typical radiolocutor del Ecuador. Is a weird voice. Señoras y señores, el día de hoy vamos a estar explorando la caverna de Joselito. Yeah, that's a dirty joke, by the way. We are getting into Joselito's cave, but they give you stupid phrases, stupid, really stupid phrases, para que aprendas lentamente la manera correcta de comunicarte con tu audiencia. Necesitas poner énfasis en palabras. Necesitas ser suave cuando hablas y conquistar a tu audiencia. It was I was terrible at that. I was just terrible at that. I always laughed out loud at every single joke, at every single shit. And you are not supposed to. They give you fun shit to read because they want you to hold it. They give you outrageous things to read, like really terrible news, because they want you to be chill. They want you to keep calm in front of the microphone, which is something that YouTube kind of dislike. If I have seen a lot of people work it like a radio, and it's amazing to watch the craft. But most people are run of the mill, common everyday people. They don't know how to intone. They don't know how to do any of that. They just talk to the microphone and to the camera like they talk to other people, and that for me is even more amazing. Because normally you have the elite that know how to communicate in front of the microphone and in front of the camera, and you have the newspaper guys reading text like uh, at the beginning of your unkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If an instant or sorcery card is revealed that way, transform Delver of Secrets, and that's a Magic the Gathering card. And yeah, you have the craft, but you may not have the seasoning. Gary from Nerdotic have both. He has an incredible radio voice, and he knows it. He acts like he doesn't, but the intonation and the way he talks is right out of a radio broadcast from the 80s on the United States. And he's spot on that technique. And he's charming. He's hell of a charming man. And that's amazing for radio. Normally, if you have a nice voice, that's a plus for radio and for TV. But if you can charm the other person in the room, if you can flirt and be amazing in front of everybody else, that's the secret. That's the real secret. And he knows his craft. Jeremy is a bit more everyday man. He is expressive, he is loud, he is angry whenever anything happens, to be honest. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. And hearing him is more like when you hang out with your friends. You want to pop up a beer and relax, lay down in the chair and enjoy. Discovering Leon Nelson's discovering the Nerdotic channel is what made me finally create YouTube account. It opened me up so many other channels. Plus, I wanted to join the chats. Yes, I have always told this story, but I took like a year before I ever wrote anything on a chat as Geek Tropology. And before that, I had my normal account, Kurogane Kiba. Yeah, I'm a whip. I'm a real whip. Uh, I know it. What can you do, man? I grew up with anime. That's what I know. But it was okay. I used to comment on the quartering and here and there on narcotics. Sometimes, uh, even in John Talks, I guess a couple of times I commented in a video here and there. As Kurogane Kiba, as Pablo Carrion, que is my another other account that I have. Um, but then Gary said in the stream that he will burn the world for his sons. That is the point I thought, yeah, this is people I need to talk with. There's a morality issue that I currently have with most of people around. They don't give a crap about their elderly or about the younglings. They don't give a shit. If the children does something stupid, they'll let it go. Then you have an adult that expects whenever they do something stupid to just let it go. In Latin America, our moms used to use the chancleta, the flip flops, to slap us silly to take us to reality back again. And believe it or not, the guys that say, "No, my mother never hit me," are the ones that are fully going straight to shit because they don't know how to take a no for an answer. And sometimes your mother needs to tell you no in a way you really understand. That's a Latino mom thing, you know. And that 70s rock fan is here. Welcome, my friend.
Hello, sir. My apologies for being late. I was delayed by in real life issues.
Hey, no worries, man.
How are
I
you doing?
was, yeah, doing fine, man. I'm just
Good.
ranting about, I guess, normal life stuff.
I heard the word mothers mentioned.
Yeah, I was talking about how Latino mothers slap you with a flip flop.
Ah, okay. Flip flops are the chosen, um, what's the word? The weapon of choice, so to speak. Yes, indeed. Well, at least it's not a big boot or a.
Yeah, and it works. It works. I
Yeah.
have seen a lot of people here on Ecuador that they haven't even had been jailed before
Mm,
they get into a job, and they don't know how to take an order, man. They just
yes.
I'm sorry, but whatever you do, you need to take an order and you need to give an order. That's two skills that
Yeah.
kids need to properly learn. And if you
Well,
are, yep, go ahead.
yes, as Bob Dylan once said, everybody's got to serve somebody. So yeah, if you're going to have to learn in life that sometimes you have to do what you're asked to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
you
many
know, if
people haven't learned that.
yeah, even a king bows to a god.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Everyone's got to serve somebody. So
Yeah,
no matter how free you think you are, but yeah, there's probably a. I mean, might be jaundiced as an older fellow, but seems to be an awful lot of people now who don't. Yeah, they get a job and they immediately someone tells them, "Well, yeah, I want you to go do that or do this." I can't do that. I'm supposed to be coming in. I'm a special person. I'm supposed to be at the top. They've never been told that they have to do these things before.
you know what's the craziest part? The people that are supposed to be really on the top, and I say this from the perspective I have seen the real elite how they grow. There's a group of billionaires here in my country. They will set their children to work in the register in a supermarket. They
Yeah.
own the supermarket. They own the bank that own the supermarket. Their
Yeah.
children need to learn to fucking take it.
Yep. Yep. Well, there's actually a strand of literature or stories over the years where extremely wealthy people, in order to discipline their children and make them understand reality, they don't get anything till they're a certain age, and they do get sent into crappy jobs. And that would probably be a good thing to do if you were super rich, if you didn't want your children to be spoilt brats that got everything they wanted.
That's my family's way, man.
Yeah.
If okay, my grandfather has money, I don't. And there's a
Yeah.
reason why I don't have money, even though he has enough money to help us
Sure.
easily. Okay. Uh, if I fail, is my failure. If I build myself up again, is
Yeah.
is my conquest. It's that easy.
Sure.
So
Sure.
he
Yeah.
won't let me die. He won't. Right now, if we don't have enough food, they send us food. If we don't have something, because we are in an emergency, and my mom
Sure.
is the stereotypical girl that got with a musician and fled.
Yeah.
So, and that's the funny part. She is an stereotype of a rich girl.
Yeah.
And you usually hope that, everything falls apart. You go back to the family, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Is not,
that's good that you have that final fallback that
yeah,
if disaster strikes, I mean, that's good.
that's not how my family works. They will
Yeah.
let you enough room so you survive. But if you need to learn the consequences of being an asshole, you learn the consequences of being an
Yes,
asshole.
that was very much my parenting. My parents were of that view. You had to
Yeah,
earn your keep, so to speak. Not that we had
exactly.
a roof over our heads and lots of food and presents at Christmas, but everyone had to pull their weight and nobody got spoilt, and you couldn't just whine and ask for things. And my father worked very hard for that, and so did my mother. So,
And
have you got a large family, Pablo? Or are you
my family, okay, my grandfather had five, one son, four daughters, five children. From that, I have around uh, 8 to 9 cousins. I don't want to
okay?
count.
Yeah, some that you can't even remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
and
I had so many cousins that I literally did forget about many of them over the years. I thought, who is that person? Who are they? I've never seen them for 50 years. I don't know who they are.
oh, extended family,
Yeah,
I remember a bit, and
yeah.
I have seen every single side of the family is weird. A lot of okay, my country is a Catholic country, so
Yeah.
a lot of the old people in my country used to idealize going to become a priest, to become a nun. So in my
Oh, yeah.
family, there's a lot of people that left the seminary or, you know, um,
Sure.
got into some
Mon-
trouble. But then again, one of them is a geologist, and he is a famous geologist at that. And he is the one that they hire to check when you have to do an excavation on my city.
oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
since it's a really old city and there's a bunch of structures that are made over structures from 1,000 years ago and such.
Layer upon layer upon layer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a chance you will find something historical that you never know it was there, or there's the chance that the whole city will collapse.
It's 50-50.
Yeah, so they hire him to actually look at the materials on the walls, on the soil, on everywhere,
Yeah.
and to do the reinforcements, do anything they have to do. And let me tell you, he hasn't had a failure in his life. His life,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
yeah.
Apart from
We,
when he discovered geode.
Okay, yeah, that may be true, but no. Here in my country, the Catholic priest used to get with the nuns, and they will
Okay.
conceive children, but they will not be able to have those children, so they make passages, catacombs,
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you know where I'm going. He discovered them.
Yeah, I was going to say, what kind of things that get discovered where you live in your city? Then is it ruins that date back to pre-Western
Oh,
colonization, or
okay, this is something that has happened in my yard, and there's a law that nowadays you have to, if you going to do any kind of big modification in this area, you
yeah?
have to call someone from the government to supervise. And there's a reason for that. I was digging in my yard and I found a base with a bunch of broken pieces of different things. Near my home, they found a burial site that had the big bases. And in these big bases, they will get the corpses of the people to mummify underground.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's next door. And a couple of blocks, they found a huge establishment, and that land got expropriated. The government owns it now
Okay.
because the relevancy of that is almost impossible to convey.
So, I mean, are we talking things that are thousands of years old?
We are talking
Neolithic?
that we found walls, stone walls from the before the Caras. The Caras
Okay.
is a group that live right where I'm living, like a dozen years ago.
Okay. So it is
Uh, the-
millennia ago. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is way before, and those stone walls are volcano proof. I'm living in a active volcano right now in the Pichincha.
Yeah, that's very reassuring.
Yeah. No, when
Still,
I was
geothermal heating. Geothermal heating. That's
no, sadly, my country is terrible at using the resources they have.
because I'm a big fan of that if it can be done. But obviously, geothermal heating either requires the ability to drill very deeply, or B, that you're living on top of something very explosive.
Yeah, actually, the Reventador, a volcano in a city, no, not city, a small population called Baños de Agua Santa.
Okay.
Yeah, is all the time just releasing ashes to the air. And okay, that this happened when I was a kid. This is a proper story of how a volcano works when you are a kid.
Okay.
I was in school, and people started to say, "There's a cloud, a weird cloud outside. Don't pay attention. It's nothing." Then comes the earthquake, and I'm okay. There's something.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
I'm a kid. I'm 8 years old or something. I'm still on primary school. So then we receive information that we have to get something wrapped around our faces when we leave. Okay, I go to my grandparents' house because that's where I used to lunch. And there, my grandfather and my grandmother are discussing that something big is happening. I don't understand. Okay, there was a bit of an earthquake. It was short, and there was a weird cloud. What someone bumped us something, and it starts a huge earthquake. Huge. It
Oh
was,
wow. Yeah.
yeah. It felt like it was happening right below my feet because it was.
Yeah.
The volcano was getting activated. There was a huge explosion and a cloud of ashes looking like a mushroom.
All right. Yeah.
Just 1,000 meters in front of me, there was this huge explosion that I never even thought it was
Yeah.
possible.
But as a child, could that be seen as almost exciting rather than frightening? Or how did
Yes,
you feel? Yeah.
it was exciting. It was really exciting.
Yeah.
Then the ashes fall out on everywhere, and is this kind of heavy soot that
Oh yeah. Yeah.
will actually harm the ground, harm the plants and everything, because is a heavily basic substance. It has a lot of carbon and a lot
A lot of
of
sulfur, I would
silicon
imagine.
and sulfur.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is quite basic,
Well,
and it
this
will
is,
burn like.
yeah. If you had a very, very well large volcanic explosions, um, the like say Yellowstone caldera, if that blew, you're going to be coating the entire North American continent in that material. Never mind
Yeah.
the rocks and the lava that would be ejected.
Oh, there's Yellowstone, and here there's the Chimborazo. If the Chimborazo
And
blows
some,
up, how Latin America goes.
yeah. Well, there seems to be an awful lot of volcanic activity globally right now, so who knows?
Yep. Who knows what's going in the mantle?
Yeah,
We
indeed.
we are not really sure.
Isn't there a
But
hollow Earth though down there? I just watched Godzilla versus Kong, so
oh
I believe that there is a hollow Earth there.
no, there's studies that we may have, and this is something that we have seen in my country. There we have a place where a lot of traffic happens each day that is called the treble. It is
Hmm,
shaped as a clover. There's
okay.
okay. One day there was a bunch of buses there, a bunch of cars, and it started to fall down to a gigantic underground cave.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
Well, huge
learned.
chamber. Yeah,
Yeah, we
chamber.
learned that day that there was a huge lake beneath my city,
Ah, right.
and it's a gigantic lake. I don't know what they are doing. They closed the opening and business as usual. I don't know if they are even trying to take anything from it, but it will be nice to actually study that formation. But there's a bunch of that kind of structures around everywhere. So we don't know exactly how much of the mantle is properly connected with the next layer and how much is separated. There could be a gigantic layer of caves around in the planet
Well,
that
this is it. We just don't know, do we?
yeah, and the heat, and we have experience with different kind of fungi, different kind of bacteria, different kinds of mammals actually that can live in such an habitat. So there may be another ecosystem right beneath our feet. That is completely
Yeah,
possible.
that's an interesting point because today all our life on Earth comes from one common ancestor, but there's no. There could have been other biogenesis, and there may be, as you say, tucked away somewhere underground or in extreme areas, a different genesis of life that happened on Earth.
Well,
Either
there are
something.
silicon-eating bacteria that live
Yep,
in calderas at thousands of degrees.
yep, yeah. Because life is pretty persistent. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a theory. The reason why, and this is from observation, almost every single terrestrial life form,
yeah,
the ones that inhabit in land,
yes.
yeah, look up. They all look up. Um, there's a lot of species of birds that will try to break from atmosphere in their silly ways, and they will die because it's obvious you get to a point where there's no longer oxygen and there's a lot of cold and you will fall to your death.
Yeah,
It's that easy. But somehow life keeps trying to get everywhere. And everywhere, I mean in every single volcano, in every single layer of the sea, In every single bit of land in the deserts, you have different species that can live there. There's a chemical reaction, and if you learn biology, the first thing or one of the first things that you learn on microbiology is how life actually started to form is radiation plus something called quaseruado. I don't know the proper term on English, but it's a gel that contains a lot of chemical reactions happening.
Yeah, and what they used to call it was the primordial soup. That this
Right.
was this had all the organic chemicals in it.
Yeah, and there's a couple of experiments done outside of Earth, done in the space station, where you expose to radiation these kind of fluids, and they actually form into small pellets.
Okay.
So yeah, there's something that we don't know, but uh, we we are still trying to get what it is. But life starts from chemical reactions. Once it starts, it tries to keep going forever. And it's weird. A single cell can try to survive and multiply to become a huge colony no matter what. We
Yeah.
kind of dislike dying. We just dislike that chemical reaction stopping. So at one point, I was just seeing this and understanding a bit of everybody is obsessed on going somewhere new. Every single piece of life is trying to get somewhere new, getting the materials to keep the reaction going forever.
Yeah. Do you think that's what drives the human race's spreading out over the Earth and then now into space?
Yeah. We are looking to ways to keep living. We don't want to die. We just don't. Some want to live forever as themselves, like people on Silicon Valley that I know they were working on a way to
Yeah.
face artificial intelligence with their own thoughts, and that's something that Elon Musk might be the first to do it. Sorry, Google, your quantum computing unit is shit right now in front of Neuralink because the
Okay.
brain can do a lot more than a quantum computer. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
the ambition on that part is harnessing the computing power of the brain, not.
Yeah, they're definitely working on life extension though, for sure, in multiple
Yeah,
fields. Yeah.
and there was an article on People about this magic recipe to get younger quick that was using younger people's blood.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are no longer even trying to hide it. They want to live forever. There are some other way to live forever. My family is quite longev. They live and live and live and live. Uh, in a few days, I will celebrate the 107 years of a great
Okay.
aunt.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
my great grandfather lived to almost 199 years. His wife to 100 years. My aunt Bebita to 106 years. I have had people 110, 108. I
Yeah.
have met a lot of old people, which is amazing. It's completely mesmerizing hearing them
Is
talk
that
about.
a specific to your family, or is it a regional thing? Is it
Uh,
something that the perhaps the environmental conditions where you
okay,
live?
there's a theory that my grandfather crafted from this. They are a generation of people that came from a longev family, from a family quite old.
Yeah.
And the environment changed drastically because they got a lot more of wealth and they crafted, uh, let's say, a family security network. and they made so anyone in the family will have enough health, enough food to prosper. This was a long time ago, like 80 years ago. Doing that, they got to almost an American living style. So they went from being exposed to every single pathogen possible in the environment
Yep.
to be clean. They have all the defenses they needed to fight almost every single illness, but they were in a situation where they only needed to fend for a few illnesses.
Yes. Yes.
So the lifespan of that part of the family just skyrocketed. And if you
Mm,
see, there's a lot of well thought reasoning behind my grandfather, because a lot of illnesses that used to kill the family young were completely eradicated, and
okay.
they live up to 110 years.
That is exceptionally long, 110, even in this day and age.
Yes.
Now my father, who passed away last year, was 1 week away from his 95th birthday. And he had outlived all of his peers and all of his brothers and sisters by some distance. So 95. His mother did live to 94. So there's a strand in my family of that, but I wouldn't say it was as strong as yours. We yeah. So I'm hoping I can at least emulate my father and make it to 94. Who knows? But my mother is still alive at 87, and she's literally the last one standing
Oh.
of all the aunts, uncles. Yeah, she's the only one left of the extended family. So,
Well,
so there are sometimes downsides to living a long life if you're left as the last one. Yes, she has children and grandchildren, but yeah, no
I
peers, no
don't
peers left.
I don't really expect to live that much, but there's a lot of reasoning. First of all, I almost worked myself to death. I was actually doing suicide by working.
Mm,
Uh,
something I intend not to do, I can assure you.
yeah, I fucked up a lot of my system by doing that. I was working 22 hours a day, then I
Yes.
will play video games or drink alcohol the other hours, then keep working.
Not sustainable, my friend. Not a
Yeah,
sustainable
I did
lifestyle.
that for more than a year.
Yeah, not sustainable at all. But
No.
you got to look after yourself. You gotta do a little. I mean, hey, who am I to talk? I've had years of late nights and whiskey and beer and rock concerts and you name it. It's all been in there over the years. But you got to slow down eventually.
Alcohol, I slowed down at 18.
Yeah.
12 to 18, I was a fucking alcoholic.
It's funny that you must be like Scotland then. We're the same. It's the minute you can start, the minute you can get your hands on alcohol illegally as a young
Yes.
age, you get your hands on it. Raiding your father's drinks cabinet or getting your older brother to buy you and your friends beers or then faking driver's licenses.
We didn't even have to fake a driver license. We will just go to the store and say, "Señito, véndame." Just
Yeah.
convince them to sell you. And before there was a lot of police checks
Yeah.
and everything, we used to get with a lot of shit. We had this alcohol beverage that was already done. It was like a soda plus heavy alcohol.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So there was this shit that you will buy for $2, a bottle of 3 liters of Switch. The name was
Yes.
Switch.
Switch.
Holy fuck, that shit got you fucked up so easily.
Yeah, yeah, we had similar drinks. Yes. See, we have some that are even with living halfway across the world. We had similar backgrounds,
Yeah.
similar drinks.
Alcoholism is global.
It's terrible, yeah. I'm not diminishing the impact of
Yeah.
misuse of alcohol if anyone thinks I am, but it's just the way we grew up. I mean, Scotland was a drinking country, still is to my best of my knowledge. I don't live there anymore, but I moved to Canada many years ago, and that's just as bad.
Ecuador is incredibly stupid about alcohol. You
Yeah.
will go to Riobamba. Is okay. This drink is not from actually Riobamba or Guaranda, two cities that say they invented it. It's from an old lady in a place called Guanujo. That
Yeah.
is a
I'm
remote
looking
location. They
I'm
make
looking
this
at a map
alcohol.
of Ecuador right now, actually.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the map of Ecuador.
You get something called pájaro azul.
Okay.
Pájaro Azul is like moonshine, but it becomes blue.
That's what it does to your organs as well. Turns them blue, probably.
Yeah, most likely.
Well, we
But
had this famous drink in Scotland. It still is, to the best of my knowledge, called Buckfast. And Buckfast was brewed by the monks at Buckfast Abbey.
okay.
It's Buckfast, Buckfast, and it was a tonic wine that they produced and they sold to the public to help pay for the upkeep of the abbey. But it was like rocket fuel. So extremely alcoholic, extremely easy to drink, and very cheap. So it became something of a famous drink in Scotland, Buckfast.
Oh.
I never personally drank it because I wasn't really into that. I was more a beer and whiskey guy, but, but it was lethal. And it
Okay.
was sold by religious guys, monks,
No. I get you. There's
who
something
didn't
that
drink it. They didn't drink it. They
there's
couldn't drink
something
it.
that happened on Italy, happened on Spain, happened on Ecuador, happened on
Mm,
Colombia, Peru, Panama, Uruguay, wherever you are. You will get a bunch of Catholic priests like the Franciscans. Yeah, that's
yeah,
the main sect that came to Latin America.
yeah. Opposed to the Jesuits. Yeah,
They were the Jesuitas and the Franciscanos are the main basis of religion here in Latin
sure.
America. They both made alcoholic drinks,
Yeah,
heavy alcoholic drinks. So beer, you will get a bunch of beers from different monasteries, and there's a convent that makes puntas. Puntas
hmm
is also moonshine. Is the common term for moonshine,
yeah.
and they just sell it.
But
They will get you drunk to your fucking teeth.
that's right. But you've touched on a very important historical point, which is particularly post Roman Empire. It was really the Catholic Church or the Christian Church, Catholic Church in Europe, that preserved in Europe the history and mechanisms for brewing. So
Yes,
it was the church that did all the brewing, and and beer was a staple diet drink for most poor people in the Middle Ages because
and
it
wine.
wasn't as strong as today's beers, maybe 1 or 2% alcohol, very weak compared to today. But it was actually a food, a staple diet because it was cheap and it was mainly the monasteries that brewed it.
Yep.
They were the keepers of that technology and that knowledge.
Also a bunch of drugs.
But also a bunch of drunks. Well, I don't know. Have you ever seen the British comedy show Father Ted?
No.
No, Father Ted. It must be 20 years old now. It's one of my all-time favorite comedies. It's a UK or British show, but it's set in the Republic of Ireland, and it's three priests on a little island called Craggy Island off the west coast of Ireland. Now that sounds really boring, but it's one of the funniest shows ever made, called Father Ted. So you've got an old drunk priest who's retired, and you got the middle priest who's dumb, kind of dumb, but normal. And then there's a young one who's really dumb, and he's into skateboarding and pop culture and whatever. And the middle guy, he's always trying to, although he's a priest, he's always trying to chat up the women, and he's always got schemes going to try and enrich himself. But it's hilarious. They made about 4 or 5 seasons, and it was just the funniest thing ever.
Okay, I need to get
Very
it now.
Python, very Monty Python. But this little weird little island and these three priests and all the weird people living there. Um,
Oh man,
so Father Ted.
if it's on Monty Python's vein, I'll just take it. You
It's
know,
very Python-esque, yeah.
uh,
In a way, I mean, it's a sitcom, so
okay.
but yeah, it's a lot more worldly than it sounds, even though it's three priests on a remote island.
There's a point about British comedy that,
Yeah.
for instance, if you go to American comedy, is more situational, rational.
Mm.
The British comedies are more abstract in a way.
Yes.
I want to
Absurd.
buy you some cheese. Or
Yes.
the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Yeah.
Monty Python was amazing at that, but Mr. Bean was mind blowing at that too.
Well,
You
there's a
know
lot of absurdity. It's
exactly.
absurd. Yeah. And
It's not like Americans that they will look for something and yell about it. It's more
yeah.
like there's a common run of the mill situation and it goes completely bananas.
Yeah. Well, if you look at Faulty Towers, for instance, John Cleese' Faulty Towers, I don't know if on the surface, it's a sitcom about a hotel, but underneath, everything else is going on.
Yeah. And
Class, religion, race, marital strife, you name it, it's and
okay,
just this
that's something that
insanity of John Cleese as well.
we inherited from Europe, especially from the more conservative part of Europe, because there was a lot of migration from Italy, from different parts out of the Mediterranean and to the north
Yeah.
toward Latin America for a time. And all these people didn't stay, but they did modify a lot of the culture. And if you see, we have kept that, and there's a bunch of series from Ecuador that they are just weird. And okay, there's a series that I'm watching. I'm actually watching it from the beginning to the end, and there's like 11 or 13 seasons of comedy called Solteros sin Compromiso.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there's this scene where everybody is mocking the gay man. By the way, the gay man is. There's a bunch of characters, and every single one is representative of some weird shit, like the Montuvia that is actually a whore.
Okay. Yeah.
The white man that is a drug addict. The black guy that he is actually the rational of everyone, but he has a lot of misfortune because
Yep.
he's he's black. That's the joke. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. And the gay man is just everybody was laughing at him because he's gay, and he says, "Okay, you guys suck. I just need to go to work." And he opens the door of his room, and makes two black gigantic guys leave the room, saying them, "Okay, honey, I'll call you later." And you go, "Holy fuck!"
That's right. But I love that. It throws stereotypes in your face and mocks them, but yeah.
Yeah,
And
and he
everyone is
successful.
equally mocked.
That's the fun part, because they were joking about him because he's gay and belittling him, and he's a catch as a gay. He has two
Yes. Yeah.
huge, gigantic black guys, and he's like,
He scored the big one there, literally. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a show, I don't know if, again, you may not have seen it. There was a comedy show for many years in Britain called Little Britain.
I
Little
have
Britain.
heard about it. I have never seen it.
So one of the characters in that was a gay guy who lives in a small village, and he's so proud of the fact that he's the only gay guy in the village. That's his claim to fame. So one day, another gay guy moves to the village, and he gets really upset because he doesn't want the competition.
Oh,
He doesn't want to have to compete because he's the only gay guy in the village. He's really
that's
proud of it.
That's amazing.
So you'd think he'd be happy that this other guy moves there, and he's not. What the? Get out of my village! I'm the only gay in the village.
Okay, in one of the last episode I saw from Solteros Sin Compromiso, there's this whole stick that the cow woman, that's how they call the fat Montubio lady,
Yeah,
is possessed by a demon. So she becomes a porn actress. And in the process of making her videos, she actually ends up killing a horse, a full football team. Yeah,
this is
is
good.
that stupid?
I can
Then,
picture this.
when
Yeah,
the gay man actually exorcised her, she goes,
yeah.
"Are you fucking kidding me? I was a star. What the hell is wrong
That's
with you?
right.
I was having fun."
She was having the time of her life. Yeah.
Yeah,
You see, there are some commonalities in comedy across languages. That's the absurd, the
exactly.
theater of
Yeah,
the absurd. Yes, and I love that. I love absurd, senseless comedy where things are mocked. Or there's
yeah.
a very good Scottish show called Chewing the Fat,
Chewing the
and
fat.
it's Chewing the Fat. And the two guys that were in it also did a very successful show, and it's now on Netflix called Still Game, and it's just wickedly absurd. But because it was Scottish guys, when they showed it anywhere else, they had to subtitle it in English, even though they're speaking English, because their accent is so strong. So they go like, "He's a break man, and you dob or whatever," and people even in England couldn't understand them.
Ooh, that's a accountant indeed.
But they're actually speaking English. It's like that scene in The Usual Suspects when they tell Benicio del Toro to speak English. Oh,
Yeah.
I was I'm talking English. Talk English. I am speaking English. What the fuck? So they had to subtitle this show because it's Scottish, even though they're speaking English.
Oh man, I completely get you.
Oh,
I
well, actually, if you ever go on YouTube, there's
no, I was
they did a Star Trek parody called
seriously
Taysiders in Space. So Taysiders, it's a part of Scotland, the River Tay, Tay, Taysiders in Space, and it's
okay.
Star Trek if they were Scottish. I don't know. Maybe you will be able to watch it here. It's on YouTube. I don't know if they would copyright strike or anything. It's
I prefer not to because I have
yeah.
seen channels die, but I will
Look
be
it up
watching.
later. It's called Taysiders, Taysid. In fact, I'll type it in.
Oh, better. Okay.
Oh, okay. My keyboard is. I got a new fancy keyboard and it's mechanical keys, and I'm not used to it yet.
Yeah, the other day I had to yell at my nephew. He was going to buy a $200 keyboard.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are you a complete imbecile? First of all, you'll get a bunch of cramps on your hand. That's just comes with having a mechanical keyboard. And second of all, you will be making a lot of noise. And you know, my mom doesn't like the noise, so fuck you."
Yeah, I didn't spend quite as much as that on it. It's a Corsair, but it's a wireless one. I know most people that get gaming keyboards prefer cabled
Mhm.
one, but I got a wireless one because I sit quite a distance from my computer, and I've got my everything thrown up on my big screen on the wall rather than at a desk. So I prefer to sit in my man cave in my powered recliner with my wireless keyboard, and it's got the fancy lights on it.
Oh no,
Anyway,
yeah, my keyboard has fancy lights, but it is a normal run of the mill
like
Logitech keyboard, and
yeah, yeah.
it's good at that. It
Well,
does what it needs to do.
I've still got some of those, but at the moment I don't have like a desk office setup. But I will be getting that again soon, and I'll use that keyboard for that. But this one's for my more. I mean, I do some gaming, but I usually use controllers even on the PC. And I build my own PCs. I just built a
Oh,
new
I
one.
do. I do that too, but
Yeah,
that's
it's fun.
maybe more of the honor of being a software developer.
Yeah, yeah, and I like the actual hardware side of it. I like the building the hardware, putting the hardware in and trying different configurations each time I build it. You know,
By the
I've
way,
got
hi Bon. Bon is in the chat. Uh, no,
a bone.
once I did working a functional graphics card. It is a fucking shite of a graphics card, is for a Pentium 3 and it was only showing uh
Yeah,
low resolution lettering as it was doing in a calculator or something. But it was a nice experiment to do. It was something
yes,
to.
I do like building different ones and trying different formats. But the moment my new one I built for my main use is missing a good graphics card because of the shortage. There's a big world shortage of the new graphics cards, so I've had to put an older one in, and it's not quite as good as I would like, but it works. It's like you only got 4 gig
Yeah.
of RAM. The graphics card, it's an older NVIDIA.
Today I
So
was fucking angry, man. I'm trying to. Okay, my PC got a bunch of troubles, and the graphics card is. I mended it as I could. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
I finally got a donor board. I got a few pieces, and it's working, but it is not working perfectly. That's the issue. The main chiplet, the core of the graphics card, the GPU, is not
yeah,
working as intended, and if gets over the 60 Celsius, will crash. Just it
yeah.
dies. And in the store that I usually buy parts because it's cheaper because I have the distribution code.
Uh-huh.
There is the Asus GT10 Theory for $132.
Okay, that's pretty good.
No, that is a $50 graphics card.
I know. It wouldn't do double. It wouldn't do nothing. It wouldn't do anything.
Yeah,
If it's not got minimum 6 gig RAM, and if it's not, yeah, you got to have some oomph. Even if you're playing a game, I mean, the games I play are not on my PC. Well, I
uh,
might have played
and
some
I
big
don't.
ones, but
Okay,
so at the moment I was playing Valheim. But even that, it stutters too much on a lower with a lower resolution graphics card.
At this point, I got a lot of old games, so I'm enjoying that. It's not even about the gaming because I have my PS4, I have a Wii U, I have a PS3, I have an
Sure.
N64, a GameCube. There's a bunch of consoles to play around.
Yeah.
That's what I have wasted the majority of my money in. Also, Magic the Gathering and Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, me too,
But
mate. I've wasted a lot of money on that stuff over the years. Trust me.
But I have to actually prepare myself for what's going on with Midnight's Edge because I want to
Yes,
I want to
indeed.
do that right.
I know.
And video editing, if I get over the 60 Celsius, my computer crash. So I try
Yeah.
to render a video over a minute and a half with the fan at full speed, the underclocked, everything working. Over 5 minutes, the video just destroys my PC.
Yeah, this was what was happening on my last PC. That's why I built a new one a couple of months ago. I needed more cooling. I needed better cooling and a better configuration. So
I
now I'm
don't.
not. I was crashing all the time, and it was the video card overheating every time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't even think if it's necessary cooling because okay, I'm gonna show you something. I mod
Yes.
most of
Yes.
the hardware I use. So here is
Well, there's the front. Yeah, there's
the
your front.
front of my case. This
Yeah.
part was completely sealed.
Yeah.
It was a solid piece. Then I got this small piece of net
Yeah.
and opened the. And actually, I did a great job with this because I did some filing and everything, and
Oh, you did
it
it
got.
yourself. Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mod a lot of the shit that I have because that's everything I can do. If you don't have enough money to buy pieces, my desk is made by myself. One of my monitors, and that's my other gripe with getting a new graphics card. I will have to upgrade my monitors because one of them is 12 years old, and I
Oh
have
yeah.
actually soldered it a couple of times because it's old.
Well, monitors are relatively cheap components.
Not here, man. It's
Uh,
$300 for an HDMI monitor, so
okay,
it
yeah.
kind of sucks. Yeah.
I meant to say though, congratulations on the Midnight's Edge stuff. That was a great stream the other day. I'm
Thanks,
really
man.
looking forward, although I don't speak Spanish yet, but you're going to prompt me to learn
Yep.
because of Midnight's Edge in Spanish. You
En
did a great
español.
job on that. So I'm so happy that you guys are doing that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was talking about it at the beginning of the podcast. Yeah, I just came here and I sometimes talk to uh, at that point, I guess, when all this whole thing began, I was just watching Gary, I was watching Geeks and Gamers, I was going to Asus and everything. Then Gary
Yeah,
says, you need to make a channel. If you want to talk about common sense, you need to make a channel. And I was just a couple of months in the chat because normally I don't interact with anyone. And if you have seen, I only say hello on Midnight Age and I don't do anything else. I normally don't interact with anyone at the beginning of Friday Night Tides since it's the main event of the week. I will
yeah,
go and say hello to everyone, but that's the extent of how much I participate in the chats because normally I'm working or I'm playing a game, I'm doing something, so it's nice to have a
yeah.
good conversation on the back.
Well,
It's
if often,
enjoyable.
yeah, often I might start out chatting a lot, but the chats on those shows move so fast that eventually I just sit back and listen. It's too hard.
Also that, yep,
It's hard
also
work.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
But he said that, and I was okay. I'll do it. I just got a new CPU, a new motherboard, a new couple of sticks of RAM and NVMe disk drive because
Oh yeah, me
oh,
too.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I was just kind of upgrading because it's not top of the line, but it is good enough. So I got a bunch of messages on different Adobe products that my hardware was no longer compatible. And Illustrator is what I use for the web pages designs and everything because that's what people prefer. They work better on that environment, I guess, or something. But I'm obligated to be able to use those pieces of software to
yeah.
to do shit. This was just before the coup.
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
during the coup, I or just before the coup, right before the coup, I decide, okay, I'll try the YouTube thing. Gary saying, "Come," and what's the worst that can happen?
Well, indeed, it's yeah. I mean, if you don't try, you don't know.
I have a bunch of shitty opinions anyway, and my I closed my Facebook because of security reasons. Facebook is no longer a place where you can actually be.
Oh, I don't. I got off that years ago. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
trust them. I don't like them, and I don't like their
exactly.
corporate attitude. Yeah.
There's a bunch of shit that I don't like at all. So it is most of the tracking for YouTube, for everything almost is blocked on my network. I set up a pi hole here and I'm catching every single connection. I don't let anything go. I
Good.
don't care. Yeah. But I did that and I was happily using my old microphone. I have it right here. And I love this guy. I got it. My best friend lives in the United States and he
Yep.
actually got to
So that
smuggle this.
one, that one there. What brand is that one? What make? that you're.
This one or this
Yes.
one?
Well,
This one.
both. Yeah. First
Okay,
that one.
this is CAD.
Okay.
It was $70 microphone, USB microphone
Yep.
on Amazon, and
Okay.
it lasted 7 years. I did a lot with this, so I love
Yeah.
the quality. The quality was not amazing. There was a bit of a metallic sound, but I like it that it was clean.
Made you
There
sound like
was
a
not
Dalek or a Cyberman.
yeah, and there was not many noise on the background, and there was no so much clipping. So I actually loved this microphone. This is
Yeah.
what I use for when I finish a web page. I have to do a tutorial of how to use it, and it needs to be hearable, So it
Yeah.
was.
So that was good. But the one you have now, what brand is that one?
This is Amarant's.
Oh,
Uh,
it's
it's
Marantz. Okay.
actually a professional microphone, and
Yep.
it's connected is XLR. Is
Oh,
connected
okay.
to a Behringer Euphoria UM2 that I
Yep.
got secondhand. And the microphone is not secondhand. The microphone was okay. I did a fundraiser because I had an electrical trouble. After changing all the parts, I needed a new power supply. The power supply came faulty and burned everything on the PSI lane. So a graphics card got affected. That's why it's dying. The USB 3 card that I had got affected, and
Mm.
everything on that line, including the microphone, an Elgato capture device, um, a Wacom tablet, just died.
Yeah. Fried. So are you finding though with the Marantz that you have a significant improvement in
Yes,
sound?
for the price, because this with the spider, and it comes with the stand, with the
Yep.
pop filter and everything. It is a great quality microphone. It
You
was
sound good.
nine,
It
yeah,
sounds good. Yeah.
it was a $95 microphone.
It's not bad. That's not
Not
bad.
bad at all. And the interface was $40 and a bit of width.
A bit of weed always helps. So
Yeah.
the,
Oh no,
so
the Wacom card, the Wacom tablet that I had, I got it for width.
well, that's a good, yeah, no cash.
No
See,
cash
that's
at all.
barter, the barter system.
Yeah.
I actually am looking at microphones. I've got a Logitech Pro X wireless headset, which is really good. But
One recommendation.
sorry, mate.
One recommendation.
Yeah. So I'm looking to build a little studio setup.
Okay. This is
Yeah.
my dream setup. Cheap dream setup. The same Euphoria I'm using is a Behringer U dash Foria UM2. Uh, it
Okay.
has
Yeah.
two channels. Only one channel is direct XLR. The other is with the normal standard plug
Like an
for
RCA
audio, the
type
normal
plug, or
jack. Yeah.
yeah.
But it measures clipping and gives phantom power. That is
Okay.
really important for good microphones. Then I want Audio Technica AT2020.
Yeah,
It's
I've
the
heard of
model.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a $120 microphone.
It's one of the
It
ones
is,
that's on my list. Yeah, I
yeah,
haven't made up my mind yet.
it is
Uh,
not cheap, but
yeah.
with the euphoria, that it actually there's a bunch of resistors on the microphone that change a bit of the sound. So this one has a bit of a clipping if I go too high in the volume. The
Yeah.
Audio Technica with Euphoria work perfectly. It just work perfectly. That is the best combination you can do for a
Mm.
cheap USB connection to XLR for your PC, and the
Okay.
amount of gain you can toy with, and the fact that you have two lanes, so you can actually hook your microphone, and if you have a guitar or something, you can play with that.
Sure.
That's
And I find that, so that's good because that is one of the microphones I had listed. I find that the audio side is something that's not too expensive, but the camera side is
no
very expensive.
my camera is a Genius for no $30 camera. I want to
Yeah.
upgrade. I want to go to a Logitech. I forgot the name, but I can look at
Yeah,
it.
because I'm looking at something that isn't really a webcam camera. I'm
Yeah,
looking at more professional
Logitech
cameras.
Brio. The Logitech Brio is a 4K webcam.
Okay.
Is what Gary uses.
Ah, I didn't know
It's
that.
the same one
Yeah.
that Gary uses. It's a 4K webcam. It's amazing. It has a lot of cool features. I don't trust Google, not Google, Microsoft security, so I won't be using once I'm planning to get it. One way or another, I'm getting that camera because I love the quality of the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because some of the ones I've been looking at are much more high end, much more
Yeah,
expensive,
but
and
it
I
has
can't really afford them right now.
40 millisecond face recognition for Windows Hello. So if you want to just sit down on your computer and the computer logs you in immediately, that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, that's a very good recommendation. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
and
do you
it's
feel you're ready for the full Midnight's Edge in Spanish experience? Are you ready to go? Ready to do it?
the only thing that I feel I'm not ready with is my PC. I want to upgrade the graphic card to properly work, you know.
Yeah.
But other than that,
It's quite
dude,
a commitment as well.
yeah,
Quite a commitment.
I have heard Tom, Andre, Paulie, Gary this whole time, and they speak from the heart, and that's what I'm trying to do in this show. I'm trying to just speak from the heart because you know what? I don't want to be funny in front of the camera. I don't
Mm,
know if you get it. If I don't have enough to do something big, I don't have enough to do something big. I do with what I have. I have some great things, so I can do a lot.
yeah. Well,
Other than that,
from my experience, Pablo, you have a tremendous depth of knowledge of popular culture, and and shows like Doctor Who that I grew up with. You know way more about them than I do, and I've watched them all my life. So so you're and that's not even in your first language. So,
I get a little bit too much in things like Doctor Who. I was into Doctor Who from 2009, maybe. There was this guy, Ivan, an Spaniard, that he's amazing. He has written books and everything. And we were in this community, the Iguana Valley. We wanted to be the Silicon Valley from Ecuador. Yeah,
yeah,
that is
yeah,
true. Okay. There was a lot of valleys on the 2010s.
mm,
Every single one failed miserably, but
yeah, right, okay,
that's another thing.
sure.
Um, and
But yeah, I
uh,
enjoyed, even though you guys were albeit some of the show that you did the other day was in English, a lot of it was in Spanish. I enjoyed it immensely, even though I didn't understand some of it. So it
oh,
was
we are
very
trying to do,
entertaining.
yeah, we are trying to go with the Spanglish side because
Oh yeah,
we need to be ready to go to Midnight Edge because we will be going to the main channel a lot.
of course, yes,
And we need to be able to talk there, but then we have to go to Midnight Edge Espanol and speak in Espanol, and we
yeah,
need to properly be able to do that. And also, there's a huge community that speaks Spanglish.
yes.
The Latinos in North America like to have both
Well, when
on
you
the same
listen to
show.
Polly can switch between the two just like that. Yeah.
I can do that with Japanese, English, and Spanish. My
Okay.
German, no,
And
nope.
there's me. I'm from Scotland. I can barely speak English. I'm still
Hey, you
learning
speak
English.
grunts.
I just grunt. Yeah.
Yeah,
We grew up just grunting.
that's an
No.
amazing language. You can communicate with caveman, and you can ask for a pizza
Yeah.
to any place. So yeah, it's good enough,
Well,
man.
we grew up that way because if I'd asked my father if I could get some pocket money, he would just grunt. That was his
Oh,
answer. Huh? Hmm? So yeah, I'm very proud of you, so I really think you're going to do a fantastic job on the
thanks,
show,
man.
and
Yeah, and
yeah, it's good.
I was saying about Doctor Who. Yeah, I go to a huge event that is called the Campus Party.
Okay.
It's you get a bunch of tech guys in the same huge building
Mm,
with at that point, and I'm talking about 2011, the first
yes,
campus party in Ecuador. We had 3 gigabytes of bandwidth.
it's not much.
So yeah, it's not much now, but at that time in Ecuador, that was mind blowing. We were doing networking like crazy.
Yeah.
And I tried to download the full Doctor Who series. That's when I learned you can't.
Why has the network crashed?
No, man, it was gigabytes upon gigabytes upon gigabytes,
Yeah,
and most of the episodes were lost.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was not until 2015 when Philip actually make it possible for us to get a lot of amazing episodes. And to this
Mm,
day, there's a bunch of them that we won't even see. But
yeah.
yeah, I tried that, and well, actually, that's the point where I got into My Little Pony a little bit more because the series was getting quite good.
Mm.
You It's a series that you don't expect to be good. It's a
Well, I've
series.
certainly seen a few of them, but
No,
not necessarily my thing.
okay. There's a Doctor Who reference. There's a pony that has a sand clock on his flank, and
Yeah.
he dresses like the 10th Doctor.
Oh, right. You know, it's interesting because, and I was thinking about this the other day, perhaps for some videos on my channel, that a lot of children's shows or shows that are nominally for children can be very adult and subversive underneath.
Because they are made by adults, and that's
Yeah,
what got completely screwed on animation on the United States. Now
yeah,
we have a bunch of literally adult childs. They
yes.
they are just child. They are acting
Yeah.
up in the most catastrophic way in
They
animation.
are. They've never grown up. They've
Yeah,
never been. Yeah. They're,
and animation before was something that was meant to be seen by the parents in conjunction with the children. And if you
yeah,
see Thundercats, the first Thundercats is amazing to watch with your kids. Same goes for a lot of series, even series that are not supposed to be for children,
yeah.
that a lot of children watch, like The Simpsons. They will get enjoyment on the pretty colors, you will get enjoyment on the dialogue.
Yeah, and I went through a lot of that with my children, and now I'm kind of going through it with my grandchildren. So I'm getting
Yeah,
a refresher course in children's shows and which ones are good and which ones are not. And the good ones are timeless. But I
yeah.
remember when I was a kid, we had shows on in the UK such as The Magic Roundabout. There was a show called The Magic Roundabout. It was actually originally a French show, but dubbed into English.
Okay.
And this show was nominally a 5-minute cartoon for kids. It was actually more of a claymation than the cartoon. It was puppets, not puppets,
Okay.
but
Yeah, yeah.
models manipulated stop motion, and it had a spaced out hippie rabbit who clearly
Okay.
was smoking a lot of dope. It was very psychedelic. It was like watching, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds or something. It was it had so many adult themes in it.
Oh
all the
yeah.
characters were it was a very hippie spaced out thing. This was for kids, but if you watch it now, you
Let
can see all
let
the
me show you something.
references. And it had
This is
they
an
made a movie of it, Dougal and the Blue Cat, it was called, and it was very, very adult.
This is a really old book. How old? This is one of the materials my grandfather used in 54. This is a 54 print to learn about animation and drawing. And actually, that he was a scout by Disney for a while. They wanted him there. Okay, this is the book. And here, a bunch of what they explain is how the fuck that something that was meant for adults ended up as a
Mm.
child thing, because caricature
Oh
was
yeah,
meant for adults.
yeah,
This was meant for adults. This was meant for political purposes, for informational purposes, and somehow Disney changed it to be for kids. And
yes,
it's a
yeah.
huge change in the whole business, because before that it was all about marketing.
Oh yeah, I see
Caricature
that.
and animation
Yeah,
was for this kind of stuff.
yeah. It wasn't aimed at children. No, no, not
Exactly.
at all. No. I hadn't thought about that actually. I mean, I've seen obviously read and seen many, 18th, 17th, 18th century books, but I had not thought of that. The animation, cartoons were political satire in Punch
Exactly.
and magazines like Punch.
the
Yeah.
the manhwa revolution on China. Manhwa is the term for caricatures to cartoons.
Hmm.
uh, Actually almost ended an empire because of a bunch of cartoons. That's
Yeah.
a lot of the Chinese government right now.
Yeah.
They know what happened on the Royal Unification War, because
Hmm.
it was a cultural war.
But
It
don't
was
you think
not.
there's a parallel to memes then? Like political cartoons and memes are
Yes,
very similar.
actually, there's a reason why memes are called memes.
Well,
I don't
memetics,
know.
yes. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
certainly read about it.
Okay. I don't want to get the name wrong.
It's the guy that coined the
Yeah.
medium is the message.
The
The medium is the message.
Yeah.
Um,
He wrote the selfish gene.
oh, I'm thinking of a different guy. Sorry. Are you thinking of Richard
Okay,
Dawkins?
Dawkins. Yeah.
Richard
About
Dawkins,
Dawkins.
yeah.
Yeah. Richard Dawkins popularized the phrase meme, but meme is an idea that establishes itself in society. Yeah. So a meme is like you got milk. Once it got into the first billboard, it was a meme. It became something that everybody on the United States would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I was more, yeah, and you're right. That's a Dawkins thing. I was thinking of Marshall McLuhan,
Yeah.
Canadian guy who popularized the term "the medium is the message," so that the medium that it's carried across becomes the message. And if a meme is the medium, then it's
Yeah.
actually providing the message too.
The real meme will be the concept of miming, the concept of generating images to convey a huge amount of information in the
Yeah.
simplest way. Like, and this is why we started to use the term meme for that. It's actually a sociological study that make the first comparison between both images and the word meme, is because we convey the idea, the societal idea that we want, with the stick figures. And at that time, it was stick figures. If you see Me Gusta, uh, it's not Minjao. Who was the player that was the basketball player that was immortalized next to Obama? Obama was the not bad meme,
Not
and
Michael Jordan or Michael
no,
Jordan.
no, no, no. It's a Chinese player.
Oh, sorry, I'm not a big basketball fan. I'm a hockey
No,
guy.
don't worry. But
So,
okay, he became a meme. The faces in the memes were
yeah,
normal people. Was Obama outlined or a lot of stupid shit because
I
it
know
was
what
the
you mean
internet.
now. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah.
now. Yeah. No,
Uh,
I was on a different tack there entirely. So I was thinking of famous basketball players. But,
and there's this study that I have actually tried to tell a lot of people about because people don't actually get what's going on. It was speaking about memes, about the origin of the meme. The meme was the idea that you can share things
yeah.
with a simple image and actually be quite complex in the communication and the way weaponism of it. And that comes from something that happened in Latin America with a network called Hi-Fi.
Okay.
That it's one of the first networks that went massive, and it was massive for the whole Latin American continent.
Okay.
And they tested weaponizing it to make people,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, during a bunch of governments here. And I have actually have tried to convey that because what you are getting from Disney, the cancel campaigns,
Yes.
yeah, there's something that we know exactly how it works because it was designed
Yeah.
on these places.
Yeah.
You know,
It's had a trial run already.
yeah. Rafael
It's
Correa, a president on the Ecuador, was infamous for having troll centers that
oh yeah. Yeah.
Disney call actually a troll factory.
Yep.
That is a small room where you get a bunch of idiots, and I was one of the idiots for a political campaign here.
Yep.
That you go and you live different lives on Twitter. You have different
Mm.
characters, they have different interactions, and they have complex storytelling because you actually need to make it look like a person.
You have to establish the background. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then someone says something stupid, and you use all those accounts to attack. And none of those accounts are real. And what happened on the Gina Carano situation showed me exactly what was going on because I knew
Oh,
exactly the way they were doing.
absolutely. The attacks that are coming on people like Gina are directly being controlled
Yeah.
from Disney and trolls, paid trolls. Are many of them. There are volunteer trolls, but they're,
Oh no, there.
yeah.
That's the
Troll
point.
farms are yeah, troll
You will
farms are
see a
endemic.
yeah, you will see a bunch of trolls, and you will think, okay, these are trolls, normal run of the mill trolls. Maybe not. And how do you detect that? Well, the interactions, the way they speak, the words they use, because there's a bunch of words that will be key.
Yeah,
And on Gina
they get a coordination for those messages. The messages are handed out, the words are handed out.
that's
You
seed
yeah,
planting because the other people that will join the campaign will take those words and make them prepare.
yes.
And
It's
that's the logic behind that.
yeah, it's absolutely manipulation of perception, public
Yeah.
perception.
Is
Uh,
manufactured outrage.
yeah, and
And
in order to get away with it, you have to be able to silence the dissenting opinions, of
yeah,
course.
and that's part of my expertise. So I remember when the whole Gina Carano situation was going down, I sent a bunch of shit to Tom on Midnight's Edge.
Yeah,
Like, dude, I work on this. This is what's going on. this is
sure.
what this is what Rafael Correa did. This is the studies that we
Yeah,
used because before all the shit, we used to talk about this quite openly. If you see, and I have a bunch of different dissertations on Spanish about the power of social media and mind manipulation that I gave on a tech day,
yep, yep. I'll have
and
a look at
that
that. Yeah,
was 2010.
yeah. Yeah. It's what's interesting now is that they've taken what was a political tool and everything is political, and culture is downstream from politics. But now
That's
they're applying it in a specifically entertainment
exactly
context.
what they don't get is that publicist, and that's the main source of all this. The publicists don't only work for a politician or for Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
They work for everything, and everywhere they work, they will use the strongest strategy they have. And what's the strongest strategy they have? It is not making someone happy, because making someone happy takes a lot of work. It's making someone angry,
make
because
them
making
angry.
someone angry
Yeah,
takes a second.
yep, and they're very good at it.
Oh, they are amazing at it, man.
They've had decades of practice, but this is what happens when you get media, high tech, and areas like publicity houses all concentrated in the hands of a few people, a few owners. It's very easy to dominate the landscape then.
Yeah.
If you've got 3 major publicity houses in North America, then all you have to do is control those 3 publicity houses. Then everything coming out of them will have that message. That's the concentration of everything in less and less hands has led to this. I mean, there was a time when, let's take the US, where there were hundreds, if not thousands, of independent newspapers, television stations, radio stations, small regional groupings, perhaps. And that's not to say they weren't biased, because there's always been bias.
Clearly,
But at least, but now the gradual sucking up of those into multinational corporations owned by 6 people has
yes.
allowed these wreckers, these locusts, to come in and control things.
And that's what I love about YouTube. That's what I love about a lot of places where you can go and talk. Because radio, it became something quite weird after a while. Because the first radios were not professional. Because there was not that profession. There was not knowledge of how to do that.
That's right. They
Then
invented
a
it. The
bunch
amateurs
of
invented it. Yeah.
yeah, a bunch of conventions became set almost in stone. And if you wanted to participate on radio locution, you actually had to give yourself to the cult, some others
Well,
say.
well, what happened and again, I'll take the US example rather than the British or other one, is that the amateurs, as you say, started radio and were broadcasting enthusiasts. Then David Sarnoff came in with RCA and said, well, we can't have this.
Yes.
We need to have control over this, put himself forward to the government as the body, although he was a commercial guy, the body that should control it, and basically started to shut these people down and bring that control into his corporation.
Yeah,
because he
and
was
a lot
politically
of the
connected.
way they used to speak, because you know what?
Mm.
The way you speak on the radio is shit.
Mm.
It's shit.
Who?
But most people that fall into that category, they don't know how to talk. They only know how to jabber.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something. As I said, Gary has the hold on the technique, and he has the hold on actually a bunch of good shit to say. So
Yeah.
he speaks like a radio man, but
Yes, he
he
does. He very
he's
much
interesting.
does.
Yeah, he's quite interesting to hear.
Well, it's not easy to talk for 4 hours on your own. Now, yes, he's reading some chats and he's getting some interaction, but what he's actually doing is hosting a radio show, and you have to be able to talk for 4 hours and not just fill that time, but actually say something for 4
And YouTube
hours.
was supposed to be the democratization of video and became the democratization of radio.
Yeah, and for a while it was. For a while.
Oh no! Trust me,
Then
and
they-
I know. Okay, I know the full history of what happened behind cameras.
Yeah.
With there was a point where YouTube changed, and it changed when they started to make money with Disney, because Disney created a network association of creators, the
Yes.
Creator Network. How it worked? and it is a tax evasion tactic. They will report everything that all the YouTubers are making, and at that point, they had the major YouTuber and the whole platform, PewDiePie. They were the owners of PewDiePie. Okay,
Yeah.
they will report everything that these people are making in ads
Mm.
as profit from Disney, and then they will
Okay.
pay the creators the portion. And that's why a lot of these networks, and if you want to have a better understanding on what happened when the Nubrio network fall, you can go to the game theorist. He was on all that shit. He was
Okay.
seeing all that shit. And the campaigns against YouTubers started after PewDiePie left and after John Tron made a huge mistake.
Mm.
He spoke out of line on HTH3.
Yeah.
All those parts made Disney actually try to get stronger with what people were saying on their network. But that will be a big move, right? So
Mm.
they actually, since they were getting a lot of money and moving a lot of money with Google, they went and said, guys, we need to strengthen the community guidelines because people are nasty, and we have this Nazi, and that's what PewDiePie
Yes.
was the first one to be attacked as a Nazi.
Oh, I remember that well. Yes. No, I
Yep.
remember it well.
And
Yeah.
it was attacked as a Nazi by CSNBC,
Yes, indeed. And
a company that is owned by Disney. And that was the first real attack on YouTubers. And from that point, YouTubers became the major enemy because the networks were losing a lot of people. So they were not going to report as much money as they thought. And the other issue is that people was getting out of line.
indeed, people had their own ideas and opinions. That's very dangerous.
Exactly. And that's the point where Disney started to, and this is not conspiracy theory, you can follow the money. Disney started to control YouTube. And why the Elsa Gate happened? Because Disney terms were paid to be more favorable on the algorithm
Yeah.
by Disney.
Well,
Then a bunch of people understood how to use it and started to make the fucking weird videos.
yeah. So it shows you that Disney are not very nice people.
No, but they are the head of the entertainment part of Silicon Valley.
The head of the snake.
Yep.
Anyway, my friend, I'm afraid that I'm being signaled from off screen, and I have to go and do
Yeah, man.
some family stuff.
No, let's finish the show because I have been running for almost 2 hours and a half.
And I really appreciate you having me on. It's always fun to chat to you, my
it is
friend.
great. And I want to get Eric O'Sullivan here. He said that he was going to sleep, so I didn't send him the link.
Yeah.
But next
Oh,
time
that
I
would
want.
be cool.
Yeah, man. We have
like
a
Eric,
lot of incredible people.
Eric's a good lad, yeah. So I probably sent him. It was me that sent him to sleep. It was me. I have that effect.
Well, man, do you have anything to plug?
Well, not obviously. I have my little channel, and I'm working on. I'm actually just about to record another in my series of science fiction books, videos about those. This one will be Arthur C. Clarke Rendezvous with Rama. Putting that together today, hopefully to publish either tonight or tomorrow morning. And then I've got a bunch of other ideas lined up for things. It's slow and steady, but we're getting there. So yeah, I've got a few things up on my channel already. So please drop in and check it out.
All right. And for my part, I'm doing this with exception of last Saturday, every single Saturday, and I'm starting with Midnight Sage Espanol. I will be appearing on Paulis a lot. And every single Friday I have the show with Nick Weiser at his channel, the Comic Book Talk.
Indeed. And that was a great one last night. Fantastic.
Yeah. By the way, Memoros Dick.
Yeah. Exactly.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for dropping by.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Yeah.
Take care.
Amazing, man. See you soon.
Cheers. See ya. Bye.
Cheers.